Yes, hello today. Look, we've got Zenkai Awakening Super Saiyan Gohan 10. Welcome to my channel where cringy intros are cringy. I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm getting very weeby. It's 5 in the morning, or 5:08 in the morning. Basically, I'm exhausted. I'm trying to go to bed, but here I am talking about Legends. So, let's just get right into him real quick so that way we don't have any questions in regards to how good he may or may not be. It's going to be pretty simple from here on out. So the way to do this is to take a look. So we're just going to double check real quick. At 7 stars, man's looking okay, but I want to see it at max stars. I want to see max everything. Just what is he looking at? So he's got a good set of solid stats. 258, 248, 183, 188. This is really solid. In terms of defense, his strike and blast attack aren't exactly like skyrocketing up there, but it's just he was built to be a tank. He definitely shows that he wants to be a tank. Okay, so let's take a look and see what else. All right. I'm just taking a look just really quickly to see what he does, but beyond this, it looks pretty much the same for the most part. Yep. All right, so Father, he draws his ult, 20% to damage inflicted by allies for 20 timer counts, restores ally health per defeated battle member. Okay, not bad. We got blue and tag Super Saiyan, so this guy is going to definitely have his ways with Bardock or Nameku. So for sure, you could definitely see him being ran on a specific team like Sun Fam and Hybrid Saiyans. So let's actually talk about that in a moment, because I think that actually matters a lot. This guy is particularly a strike-based unit, and as a result, I strongly believe on a Sun Fam team, he is most likely going to pretty much be on the team, or alternatively, he just won't see play on Sun Fam. And I'm not saying this because he's a bad unit. No. In fact, it's because people value Namek Goku so much. Now, there will be people that are going to run him over Nameku, and there are going to be people that run both, and there are going to be people that just run Nameku. So what's going to really come down to is what they believe is best. And from what I'm seeing currently for Sun Fam is starting to go towards that melee route, which means that I strongly believe that Super Saiyan Gohan Teen is actually going to see a lot more competitive play on particular Sun Fam teams, at least in their strike variation. If you see a blast variation of a Sun Family team, what's going to happen is you're going to mainly see no Super Saiyan Gohan Teen, or if you do, it's just to boost Nameku. So just keep that in mind when we're talking about Super Saiyan Gohan Teen. I do not believe that he is actually replacing Nameku, and nor do I believe that he is not useful. I believe that the game is really trying to separate every single team into 2 categories, blast and strike. And honestly, that's not bad. That's actually pretty cool, but at the same time, that's costly, so you gotta, because of that, you have to start to figure out subdivisions of what you actually want, whether you want the blast variation or the strike variation, and you gotta stick with that, or alternatively, it kind of forces you into one team in particular. Now, another thing that we need to talk about is the fact that he does boost Super Saiyans, because Bardock is a Super Saiyan and a blue unit. So, yes, this guy could see also relevant play on Super Saiyan teams. Whether he's going to be actually used versus just buffing Bardock is, it's up in the air. But what we do know is that you have the option. So I'm sure there's going to be people that are going to test that out, because with high defense and lower base stats, those crits will come in really big handy. And on top of that, this guy's defensive nature is just really phenomenal. So I totally see this happening. How much is it going to pick up is dependent on the players. That run Super Saiyans, and if they can afford this, or alternatively, if they want to. All right, and then we got to talk about hybrid Saiyans, because hybrid Saiyans are in the interesting scenario of they kind of do a mixture of both of what they do. Hybrids are just insane because they have literally the most support currently. It's actually insane. I hate this so much. So, if you guys have been keeping up with the game, you already know that they got Revival Han, they have LF Future Endurance Han, and then they have the father-son Kamehameha Han. That's what? Purple, red, and yellow? That's already insane. They have a solid green. They have a couple of solid greens, but I do believe that EX Future Gohan, the Extreme, and the Zenkai 7 is the, I personally believe the optimal green unit for the team. Some use the new hybrids / movie sagas trunks. That's also very viable. Basically, what I'm seeing from that is that in terms of their blue units, now they can officially make a split. So, if you want to go for a more strike-oriented offensive game with your hybrids, Super Saiyan Gohan Teen, I think, is just, it's going to be the unit of choice. And if you are going for more blast variation, or you value more the constant rotations and the constant switching, then Super Saiyan 2 Trunks, Zenkai 7, will be the one to choose. Personally speaking, at least currently in this meta, I truly believe that Super Saiyan 2 Trunks is the better unit for hybrids. And this is not because this unit is bad, by any means. It's because he's able to reduce the amount of substitution counts that are necessary before a switch. And if you guys are playing in higher level competitive PvP, a lot of Rising Rushes are thrown. This means the usual units you want thrown into a Rising Rush is LF Gohan, as in the future one, or alternatively you want your Revival movie Gohan to get thrown into that Rising Rush. Regardless of who you're throwing into the Rising Rush, you want the ability to survive it. Now, Super Saiyan Gohan, he could potentially survive a Rising Rush, but that's not the point. The point is, in case that he can't, if his kit can carry that, that's even better. And as a result, I don't see him going to be used as relevantly in hybrids as Super Saiyan 2 Trunks would be used. However, if you're looking mainly for those buffs in terms of defensive buffs, then yeah, you could definitely see Super Saiyan Gohan Teen in hybrids for sure. It's just really, when I'm looking at this, I'm looking at this from a higher level competitive standpoint, and I don't see this character, at least right now, being more than anything but just flavor of the week, right? But down the line, and it could be very soon down the line, this guy could see a lot of useful play. Especially since Goten is coming out, so actually not coming out, is already out. So if you're pairing this up with Goten in your hybrids team, then I totally see him over Super Saiyan 2 Trunks, and as a result, again, you're kind of team splitting, but in that case, you potentially are sacrificing a Revival Han. So it just really depends on the playstyle and what you want to work with, but from what I'm seeing, that's kind of where we're at with hybrids. And yeah, that's pretty much that. So let's take a look at this guy's unique abilities just to see what he does and go from there. All right, so we got this, which was already there to begin with. So let's just take a look. We got 3 members, reduces damage received by 40% until combo ends when changing cover. So he obviously does damage reduction. If you got 2 members, however, he'll reduce the damage by 60%, and then 1 member will be 40% to damage inflicted. Okay? And this is just in general, which is nice. And then he gets, unfortunately, +2 to own substitution count as default. So, you know, a little annoying, but it is what it is. All right, family bonds. Applies the following effects to self per Sun family battle member when this character enters the battlefield. And this is where I also see him being very useful, just kind of like how that Trunks is. And this is why there's an argument most likely over the Super Saiyan 2 Trunks, depending on how you're playing. If you're going based upon just pure synergy, this guy might actually be better than the future hybrid variant. But I do believe right now the future hybrid variant is still more competitive because we have access to constant swapping, which is something that is really, really relevant when it comes to avoiding rising rushes, or if you are forced to take one, to take it in a way that you command your opponent's rising rush and not the other way around. So he applies 25% to strike damage and 20% to key recovery. He also gives additional 45% to strike damage inflicted if an allied tag Sun family is defeated. And the effects of the character is reset after switching. So basically, from what I'm seeing here, it also works very well with the Revival Han. Now, with that being said, it's still limited by the fact that Goten and Gohan were meant to work well, like mesh really well together. So if you apply this Gohan to the other Gohan, the purple Gohan, it will mesh well. It just won't be as great of a boon. So, you just weigh pros and cons for that. All right, so now we're going into the Z3 territory. All right, the following effects occur when this character enters the battlefield. 15% to damage inflicted for 15 timer counts, just base, and then inflicts enemy with attribute downgrade, plus 10 to strike and blast arts cost for 5 timer counts. It's not very impressive. I'm gonna be honest. It's not impressive at all. But at the same time, because they are allowing him to mix, and because he's a Super Saiyan, I see what they're doing. They're balancing him, knowing that if they make that too busted or a little bit too okay, then in that case, when he meshes with Bardock, it's going to be insane. So I understand this. It just makes him a little bit less interesting. He feels more like here's something for hybrids versus on Sun Fam, it's kind of like, all right, this is okay. And then on Super Saiyans, it's like, this is why. Because of you guys. So, we can't have good things because of Bardock. Okay, and then Protector of Earth. Applies the following effects to enemy when cover changing. Reduces ki by 20 and then randomly destroys 1 card. This is actually pretty good. I actually like this. And honestly, if you were to get him, I would get him because of his Zenkai 6 ability. Not even Zenkai 3 ability. Zenkai 3 ability is nice and all. But at that point, I would just argue Zenkai 1 or 2 is good enough. But the Zenkai 6 is where it's really at. Destroying cards when cover changing is becoming such a beautiful concept. And I did mention that when Vados came out, that we are entering a shift where we are also adding the removal of cards in the opponent's hands when cover changing, because at this point, cover change units that block and then potentially chain against a specific type of card arts is becoming a little outdated. And the only reason why that's happening is because there is cover change nullification. And although cover change nullification can still occur throughout the game, they cannot stop you from destroying their cards in their hands. And that is effective. So when you're looking at this unit in terms of what he can do, again, pros and cons, it's really hard to say. I would say if you're really focused on a more strike offense hybrids team, or alternatively, a more synergetic hybrids team that isn't relying on future units as much, this guy is definitely going to fit the bill. But if you are going for that future hybrids variant that has been doing so well in the meta for quite a while now, actually, then I would honestly just stick with the Super Saiyan 2 Trunks and just have this guy on as a back burner. So that's my full thoughts on this character. I think he's a really good character. I don't think you should underestimate him. Whether he's worth it to you is really dependent if you're playing hybrids, Sun Fam, or Super Saiyans. And even if you're playing Super Saiyans, you have to weigh out whether or not you actually need this character. Because if you have enough good defensive units and you don't feel like you need a good defensive blue unit, then he's not worth it to you. But, that's up to you to decide. I personally am still on the fence in regards to whether I'm going to fully Zenkai him or not. All I do know is that he will, for me, be Zenkai 3 because of the showcase that I did for that specific guide for his specific event. For the Goten, specifically. So, you know, from there, I have to just decide whether or not I want to invest the rest of my CC into him to get him to that final stage. But with that being said, guys, that's the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please don't hesitate to tickle the like button if you haven't already, subscribe, and click at the bell for more notificaciones so you never miss another one of my videos. Have yourselves a salty day, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for stopping by. Hope you had a time, Phil G. Phil G.